3.
Good afternoon. My name is Farley Wuth. I'm the curator of the Kootenai Brown Pioneer Village, and I'm standing with Mr. Harold Kidd, who is a veteran of the Second World War, and he resides here in Pincher Creek. We're interviewing Mr. Kidd about some of his military history. He served in the Second World War from the fall of 1939 to the fall of 1945. He was there for the entire war and spent several years overseas in England and a year on the continent as well. So we're going to be talking to him about some of the history. Today is Wednesday the 30th of April, it's 2014. So thank you for allowing us to talk to you, Mr. Kidd.
Well, you're very welcome.
No, well, we appreciate the interest. So, what military unit did you serve in during the Second World War?
Well, we started off as 25 pounders in the artillery,
Right,
and when we were in England, the 5th Division was going down to Italy, and we were, we were troops that just supported the infantry all the time. And they changed us from 25 pounders and sent us back to England to train on the 5.5 guns.
right. So you received your training overseas in England then, did you?
Yeah, in England, we were training there, and we were out sometimes for weeks at a time, and all we had was blankets and a ground sheet. Yeah. But I don't remember ever having a cold, so we must have been in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't have a lot of supplies with you in terms of...
Well, we had, when we went on those maneuvers, we had all our guns and trucks and equipment and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we had all that.
Okay. But you didn't have much supplies in terms of blankets or anything like that, eh?
2 blankets and a ground sheet.
That was it. Wow.
That was it.
And you stayed warm even in the winter?
Well, we were inside in the winter time.
Okay.
But the coal was very scarce. But we managed. Yeah.
Where in England did you have your training? Do you remember?
Well, we trained and we went up north to Yorkshire, and we went to Wales, and a lot of training on the south coast too, in England.
So you're all over the place doing
Yeah.
with the training. Oh, good for you.
Well, we were there 3 years, and the officer that wrote our regimental history said, you know, that training that we had in England was tougher than some of the stuff we had in action.
Wow. Tough conditions and good training, so.
Yeah, I think all Canadian units that were there at that time had tough training.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So you spent a year overseas in on the continent in battle. Is that correct?
Yeah, we landed on the coast just south of Caen
Right.
in France, and our first shells were fired on the Kidd Airport just outside of Caen.
Right.
And then we went into Caen, and I was a surveyor, and we went ahead to survey the guns in, and our sergeant got hit with shrapnel.
Oh my
We
goodness.
lost him that day. I never saw him again.
Right. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. What other battles were you involved in France and so forth?
Oh dear. Listen, there's a little paper underneath, there's books there. I wrote the name down, I've been trying to think of it.
Okay, maybe I'll go over and have a look here.
Yeah.
It's under one of these books here.
Now, lift that up.
Ah, here it is.
Falaise,
Ah, that's it.
yeah. And Falaise was one of the places where the German army had some of their best forces
Right.
against our boys.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there supporting, and I think at one time there was as many as 1,500 guns firing in the barrage.
Wow.
And you could, when it was over, you could step from one shell hole to the other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and yet they put it off from not off a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided that that wasn't, we couldn't, we come to a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
And they called on the Air Force, and they come over with 450 bombers,
Wow.
and instead of hitting the German side of it, they hit our side.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
gee.
How sad.
And we lost a lot of our equipment,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our people killed and wounded,
Mm-hmm.
and a week later, the same thing happened with the American Air Force.
Oh, dear.
They hit us again.
Oh, dear.
And a Polish unit just across the road from us
Mm-hmm.
was putting their white bread out.
Oh, dear. Very tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very sad.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you saw action in France. Did you go to some of the other countries as well, or?
Well, we went through Belgium and Holland
Mm.
and yeah, and then we wound up in Germany.
Right.
We wound up in Germany.
Mm-hmm. As
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
Don't forget it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, sounds like a very interesting history there. So,
Pardon?
sounds like a very interesting history there in the Second World Wars.
That was, and then see, we went after Falaise.
Mm-hmm.
We went through and were supporting the infantry when they were going to take Amsterdam,
Right.
and the Germans blew the dikes there,
Uh-huh.
and it was all flooded. And we were supporting they'd call on us for fire when they wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we weren't, the infantry had it a lot worse than we did, but
Uh-huh.
we had some bad times too.
Yeah, sounds like it.
In fact, we lost our regimental sergeant major in Caen.
Right.
Yeah. German Air Force came over 2 nights in a row.
Mhm.
One night with flares, and the next night with anti-personnel bombs.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, very sad. So very tragic.
That was my first burial party.
Mm-hmm.
We buried 5 guys the next morning from
Oh, dear.
there.
Yeah, that's sad. So did you make a lot of friends with the fellows that you were fighting with?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was with the same unit all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you keep in contact with the fellows that survived the war? Did you keep in touch with some of them afterwards?
Oh, we had a reunion every year.
Wow.
And it went on till there wasn't enough anymore.
Right.
Another fellow and I used to have, when it was held in Listowel,
Mm-hmm.
we looked after things there
Mhm.
then. And then alternative with the battery from Lindsay,
Mhm.
Ontario.
Right.
They took it every other year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. So I understand that you attended some of the anniversary celebrations overseas as well.
Well, I went to Holland with Buddy Riley on the 50th anniversary,
Right.
and my wife died in 04,
Right.
December, and then that spring, Mr. Days from Lethbridge.
Mm-hmm.
We're going over on a trip, and he said if I wanted to come, he'd look after me.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
I was pretty much in a wheelchair then too.
Mm-hmm.
But I stayed with the same people that Woody and I stayed with
Mm-hmm.
in Appledorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you attended both the 50th anniversary and the 60th anniversary
Yeah.
celebrations. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what sort of welcome did the Dutch people provide for the Canadian soldiers when they came over for the anniversaries?
Well, when we went over for those anniversaries,
Yes.
oh, there was always a great lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go to the big cemetery at Grosbeek,
Right.
and it was where, I think it was the biggest one
Mm-hmm.
in Holland.
Right.
There were several, but Grosbeek was the biggest one.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I think there were near 5,000 buried there.
Were those Canadians buried there, or were they people from all nationalities who were buried, killed in the war?
Well, I think the boys too that were killed in Germany
Ah,
were come back and buried at Grosbeek.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the time of the Hochwald Forest and the Reichwald Forest where they really had it really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough battles during the Second World War.
Pardon?
There were a lot of tough battles during the Second World War.
Yes, there were.
Yes.
And then we went down the Rhine,
Mm-hmm.
and there was hardly any buildings left at all.
Mm-hmm.
The Air Force had gone in there, and it was just a pile of rubble, pretty much.
Right.
And we crossed the Rhine on a pontoon bridge,
Mm-hmm.
about a mile long, to the city of Emmerich.
Right.
And then from there, we went back up to northern Holland and crossed into Germany,
Mm-hmm.
just south of Emden.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, we were going up to survey the guns in. I had half the group, the sergeant had the other half group.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the officer, I said, "Sir, I'm supposed to be going to England on my leave tomorrow morning." Well, he said, "You go, I'll look after things."
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I went back to England then. And I met a family there that I used to go on leave with all the time.
Right.
And when I was on my way back,
Mm-hmm.
I got back to the regiment and they said, "The war's over."
Oh.
So I missed the last week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, that was good timing. You had some well-deserved rest and all that. So after all those battles, so.
yeah, and then the married men got to go home first,
Mm-hmm.
and I was back on leave in England then till well, I saw September the 8th, I saw Newfoundland
Mm-hmm.
on my birthday.
Oh. So September 8th is your
45,
birthday.
yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a nice birthday present to come back to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so, yeah. So after the war, did the Canadian Armed Forces supply the returning soldiers such as yourselves with any training, on-the-job training?
I
or?
went down to London, Ontario,
Right.
to be discharged,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a second lieutenant
Mm-hmm.
there. He talked to me,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as said, "Well, you can walk and you can see, bye-bye."
And that was it.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Huh.
But now since,
Uh-huh.
the Veterans Affairs are looking after us pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have no complaints about that at all.
Well, I'm glad that they're being looked after now. You know,
Yes,
that-
now, yeah,
yeah.
but it took a long time.
It did.
It
That's
did take
that's
a
many
long,
years.
long time.
That was way back in 1945. They should have been looking after you
Yeah.
as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I am glad to hear that they're doing a better job these days. So yeah. So what sort of rations did the Canadian Forces supply you when you were overseas in terms of food and so forth?
Well, I remember one time we were on those maneuvers,
Right.
and we had fried dough for lunch. That was it.
Uh-huh.
Rations didn't catch up with us,
Yeah.
but we ate an awful lot of mutton.
Uh-huh.
I guess Woody would tell you that.
Yes, he mentioned it too. Yes.
Well, we ate for 3 years
Uh-huh.
there.
Uh-huh.
Mostly mutton
Yeah.
and mutton stew.
Yeah.
We complained about it, but you know, I went in the army at 130 pounds,
Uh-huh.
and I come out at 165, so it couldn't have been too bad.
A gain of 35 pounds due to the mutton. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you still enjoy eating mutton today?
No, I can't even stand the smell of the pork or lamb chop going in a frying pan.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. It's
But we went back to England to visit these friends,
right.
and they had lamb with, what's that sauce?
Mint.
Mint sauce.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we ate it, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but it was okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're being very polite, I think. Yes. Yeah. So sounds like quite the experience with the food and the lack of rations and so forth. So, yes.
Yeah, I don't know whether we had many potatoes and stuff or that, vegetables, but I know if you got a scratch or something,
Right.
it took a long time to heal.
Right.
Yeah. So there was something short of our
Mm-hmm.
diet, I guess.
Yeah. Were there a lot of medics and doctors and nurses
Yeah,
on the battlefronts as well?
we had a doctor with us, and they had a regimental aid post and
Right.
whatnot. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah. And was that a lot of good help and all that? So. Was there a photographer in the battles as well, taking pictures of some of the battle scenes and so forth?
when was that? Like,
Well, was there somebody taking pictures
no,
during the battles?
there weren't that many people had cameras.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And there was, I think I have a couple little wee pictures,
Right.
but
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can't find it, but
Oh,
there
that's
was
okay.
one I was looking down the barrel,
Right.
and the guy took my picture. But I can't find that picture,
Oh, that's okay.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine at the battlefront they were pretty concerned about just fighting the battle and not so much about
Well, I think
pictures.
there were people there, but I think they were more with the infantry than we were with the artillery.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Very interesting. What were some of the lasting effects or impacts for you of the war?
Well, I mean, we used to have those reunions every
Right.
year, and of course our wives came to those reunions too.
Right.
And they said, "After listen, you guys, it's the one of you ever won anything,
Uh-huh.
you know."
Yeah. Well, I think
There was a lot of good times, a lot of bad times.
yeah.
But-
Yeah.
No.
You did a good job defending our country during the war and so forth, so that was fantastic. So, yeah.
Well, like you say, when you talk about joining up, there wasn't. I was 18 years old on the 5th September and 19 on the 8th.
Yeah.
And I was working on a farm
Right.
for $30 a month in the summertime
Uh-huh.
and nothing in the winter.
Right.
But there just wasn't any work.
Right. So, was that part of the reason that you joined up?
Yeah.
Was because of the
well,
work?
Then too, there was a local battery,
Right.
and there's 4 batteries in the regiment.
Right.
And this one battery was in our hometown, my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one reason why I joined up.
Right. Yeah.
And I was with those guys all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was your hometown, sir?
Listowel, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you were raised, so. And when did you come out to Pincher Creek?
80.
Sometime in the 1980s?
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. Well, that's fantastic.
And
We're glad you're...
I'm a Legion member for 59 years.
Wow, congratulations.
I missed one payment, I think, somewhere along the line,
Yeah.
because I know I joined in 46.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been active in the Legion,
Well, I was now an executive when I'm back in Ontario.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for you, so. Yeah.
No.
So do you have any other memories about the war that you'd like to share with us today? Anything that comes to mind?
No, you don't. I don't know that there's any other special.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
that when I went on that leave,
Yes.
the boys were just south of Emden.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure whether it was the last day or the second last day of the war.
Right.
6 of our boys were in a basement, and a shell come through the
Oh dear.
window. Right at the very end.
Yeah, right at the
Yeah.
very end.
Killed them all.
Killed them all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Right at the end of the war too, so.
No, he had a lot of good friends.
Uh,
Yeah, a lot of good friends.
mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of memories too, so.
A lot of memories, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I can't come up with.
Oh, that's okay. We appreciate what you've told us and all that. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Any other question? So do you have any advice to offer the soldiers of the day when they go to combat?
I think it's a whole different deal,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Because, well, Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan,
Right.
no-win situation.
Right.
And I don't know why they go there. I hope they don't go back
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And now these few soldiers that went back to Afghanistan to protect the
Mm-hmm.
ambassador and one thing or another,
Right.
those guys aren't getting danger pay,
Mm-hmm.
but some of them could be killed too.
Yeah.
I was fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I never got a scratch.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. It's nice to come back from the
Well,
wars.
That time in Con,
Mm-hmm.
we were, there was a big agricultural grounds just outside the city.
Right.
And that's where we went to survey,
Mm-hmm.
and there was 2 Tiger tanks dug in,
Mm-hmm.
shooting at us. And we laid on our bellies and had our instruments right down on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a sergeant got hit, but, no. There were some rough times and some good times.
Yeah.
And I know when they said, well, how did you come back from there? Well, we said we went through this village over on the left. And we can guarantee you there's no Germans there. All we saw was a rooster sitting on top of the wall.
Yeah. 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 Some great memories and all that. So.
Yeah.
When you were on the battle, where did you bunk down for the night? Was it just on the battlefield itself? Wherever, eh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, generally there would be some empty buildings or something, you know, you could get in.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And were most of your battles during the daytime, or were there battles at night?
No, they were going 24 hours.
24 hours a day, so.
And like when after Falaise, we went through then through Belgium and to Holland, and we were sometimes on the go for 3 days without any sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So you get pretty tired after that, so.
sure do.
Yeah. So
And
you-
then I remember that time that we had, we laid down beside a hedge and pulled a tarp over us
Mhm.
after that time to have a rest.
Yeah. Some very interesting stories. Well, we'd like to thank you, Mr. Kidd, for all your stories here and for helping us preserve the history of the military that you participated in. And we'd also like to thank you for serving with the Canadian Forces during the Second World War. Your efforts helped keep Canada a free country today, and that's very, very much appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah, well, you know, they were talking about our infantry boys hardly ever backed up. You know, they're all kids.
But they're brave boys and all that.
Yep, they were so.
hmm
Yeah,
So thank you very much for your stories. That's fantastic.
you're very welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. It's much appreciated for all your work and all that. So thank you.
Well, listen, did you want to take a picture of that?
Oh, some of the other pictures there?
The one picture there that they took in Holland.
Oh, is that the one in the middle here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I pick it up?
No.
I won't drop it. This is the picture you're talking about, is it? Yeah.
That soldier pushing me in the.
Yeah. Do you want to hold it for the camera? Do you feel comfortable holding it, sir? You can hold it like this, so it's.
A lady in our church.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of her name right now. But she wanted me to look up her brother.
Oh.
And this fella is pushing me in the wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
He took me right to the grave site.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. He was able to organize that for you
Yeah.
and your friend in the church. So.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you.
Did you want that other picture? One above my wife there?
Sure.
Before and after?
Mm-hmm. I'll put this one back for you, Mr.
Okay,
Kidd.
thank you.
Now, which pic
The
did
one with
with the
the before and after me.
this one up here? Now, this is a picture of Mr. Kidd in uniform and before and after.
Okay.